In the rush and clamor of our daily lives, we often overlook the subtle yet profound power that silence holds. It's in the quiet moments that we truly begin to understand ourselves and the world around us. But how do we unlock this surprising power of silence? Let's explore this together, step by step. Embracing the quiet. We live in a world where noise is constant. The roar of traffic, the ping of notifications, the buzz of conversation, these are the sounds that fill our days. Yet, within this cacophony, there is a whisper, a gentle invitation to seek out the quiet and find what lies within. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a presence, a fullness waiting to be discovered. Have you ever noticed how your mind races from one thought to another, never pausing, never resting? This relentless activity can be exhausting. Silence offers a reprieve, a sacred space for your mind to rest. When we allow ourselves to sit in silence, even for a few minutes, we give our thoughts permission to slow down. It's like watching the frenzied ripples on a pond settle into a smooth, glassy surface. In that stillness, clarity emerges. But silence is not something to be found outside of us. It's something we carry within. To unlock its power, we must first cultivate it internally. This begins with the simple act of paying attention. Notice the spaces between the sounds around you, between the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, or the distant hum of the world. These gaps, these pauses in the symphony of life, are where silence lives. In these moments, you may find that silence has a texture, a weight. It's not an absence, but a presence, a canvas upon which the art of your innermost thoughts can be revealed. When we sit quietly, we become the audience to the most intimate performances of our psyche. The next step is to create intentional periods of silence in our lives. This doesn't require us to escape to a mountaintop or a secluded forest, although such places can certainly facilitate a deeper experience. It can be as simple as dedicating the first few minutes of your morning to quietude or spending the last moments before sleep free from screens and distractions. It's in these bookends of our day that we can find a powerful silence. We also find that silence is not purely individual. It's relational. Have you ever shared a moment of silence with someone else? Not an awkward pause, but a comfortable shared stillness. It's in these moments that our connection to others can deepen. Words are often unnecessary when the language of silence speaks volumes. But embracing silence is not always easy. It can be unsettling at first. The noise of the world is familiar. It's a constant companion. To turn away from it requires courage. It requires us to confront what we've been using that noise to hide from: our fears, our regrets, our hopes, and our dreams. Silence holds up a mirror to our innermost selves, and sometimes what we see can be confronting. Yet, this confrontation is the first step toward true understanding and growth. In silence, we can hear the whispers of our inner wisdom, the guidance that's so easily drowned out by the cacophony of life. By embracing the quiet, by becoming comfortable with the discomfort it may initially bring, we unlock the first surprising power of silence: self-awareness. This is where our journey into the power of silence begins, with the courage to embrace the quiet and the willingness to explore what it reveals. As we move through our exploration, remember that silence is a teacher. What lessons does it have in store for you? The resonance of listening. As we delve deeper into the essence of silence, we encounter its second great teaching: the art of listening. In a world where everyone seems to be speaking, where we are constantly bombarded with messages, advertisements, and opinions, the act of truly listening becomes a rare and valuable skill. Silence is not just a passive state, it is an active engagement with the world around us. When we think of listening, we often think of it as simply hearing the words that are spoken to us. But true listening is so much more. It is an attunement to the subtle nuances of tone, the unspoken emotions, and the spaces that words cannot fill. In silence, we learn to listen not only to others but also to the unvoiced parts of our own hearts. Have you ever considered how much of your daily listening is done with the intent to reply, to add your own perspective, rather than to understand? We often listen at the surface, already formulating our response before the other person has finished speaking. This is where silence teaches us a different way. When we quiet our own internal dialogue, we make room to truly hear what is being said. This shift in how we listen can transform our relationships. Imagine conversations where you are fully present, where the entirety of your attention is on the person speaking. This quality of presence is a gift, both to ourselves and to others. It builds trust and fosters deeper connections. When people feel heard, truly heard, it creates a bridge between souls. But listening goes beyond human interaction. Silence teaches us to listen to life itself, to the rhythm of the seasons, to the whispers of the wind, to the lessons each sunrise and sunset imparts. When was the last time you listened to the rain without the urge to do something else? Just listened, allowing its pitter-patter to be a soundtrack to your inner reflections. Yet, silence also challenges us to listen to the more uncomfortable things, the rumble of our anxieties, the echo of our doubts, the cadence of our self-criticism. It's only by listening to these inner voices that we can begin to understand them, to engage with them, and ultimately, to quiet them. In doing so, we find peace. The practice of deep listening can start small. It might be a conversation where you consciously decide not to interrupt, not even with your thoughts. Or it could be a walk where you focus on the sounds of your environment, letting them fill you without judgment or analysis. The key is to let go of the need to control the silence. Instead, allow it to guide you to a deeper level of listening. As you grow more comfortable with silence, you'll notice that your capacity to listen expands. You'll hear not just the words, but the message behind them. You'll sense not just the overt melodies of life, but also its subtle harmonics. And as you listen, you'll find that silence speaks with a resonance that vibrates within the core of your being. This brings us to the end of our exploration of the second power of silence, the resonance of listening. It's a profound shift from being a passive recipient of sound to an active participant in the symphony of existence, the alchemy of inner tranquility. In this third phase of our journey, we direct our focus inward, toward the transformative effect silence has on our inner landscape. There is an alchemy that occurs when we regularly immerse ourselves in silence, an alchemy that transmutes restlessness into peace and chaos into order. This metamorphosis is not instantaneous. It is a gradual yet profound shift that touches every aspect of our being. Consider for a moment the nature of your inner dialogue. Is it supportive and kind, or critical and demanding? The words we speak to ourselves in the privacy of our minds can either be a source of great strength or can erode our confidence and peace. In the silent spaces, we can begin to observe this dialogue without getting entangled in it. We become the compassionate observer of our own thoughts. The practice of sitting in silence daily, even for a short while, serves as an anchor in our lives. It becomes a point of stillness amidst the swirling currents of our experiences. As we sit in this stillness, we may at first feel a sense of unease, the discomfort of being alone with our thoughts, without distractions. But as we persevere, silence becomes a sanctuary where we can find respite from the relentless pace of modern life. In this sanctuary, we discover that silence has a purifying effect. It allows the sediment of our worries, fears, and the relentless pressure to do to settle, leaving the water of our minds clear and calm. This clarity brings with it a sense of inner tranquility that can sustain us through the turbulence of our external circumstances. The alchemy of silence is also reflected in the way it can shift our perspective. When the noise is stripped away, what is truly important comes into sharper focus. We begin to discern the difference between the urgent and the essential, between the trivial and the significant. This discernment is a powerful tool in crafting a life that reflects our true values and priorities. But how do we cultivate this inner tranquility? It begins with an intention to create space in our lives for silence. This could mean waking up a bit earlier to sit in the quiet of the dawn, taking a few moments to breathe deeply and be present before each meal, or simply turning off the car radio during your commute. These intentional acts of silence are the crucible for the alchemy of tranquility. In this crucible, we not only observe our thoughts but also learn not to be ruled by them. We can acknowledge our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Silence provides us with the distance needed to see that we are not the fleeting thoughts and feelings that pass through us. We are the vast, quiet space in which they appear. This realization is liberating. It frees us from the grip of our automatic reactions and allows us to choose responses that align with our deepest intentions. The serenity cultivated in silence does not mean that we no longer feel emotions or face challenges. Rather, it means that we navigate life's storms from a place of centered calmness. As we integrate these moments of silence into our daily life, we begin to carry this tranquility with us. It becomes a part of who we are, coloring our interactions with others and our approach to life's challenges. We become a presence of peace in a noisy world. This inner tranquility is not just for us. It ripples out, affecting our environment and the people around us. When we are at peace, we create a space for others to find their own peace. This is the true power of the alchemy of silence. It transforms not only us, but the world we touch. The unseen symphony, harmonizing with the universe. In our final exploration, we delve into the most profound aspect of silence, its ability to connect us with something larger than ourselves. When we listen to the silence, we begin to hear the subtle yet omnipresent music of the cosmos. This is the unseen symphony, a harmonious interplay between all living things and the universe itself. It is in these depths of quietude that we can sense our place within the vast tapestry of existence. The cacophony of our daily lives often drowns out this cosmic harmony. We are like instruments out of tune, playing our own discordant music without realizing we are part of a much greater orchestra. Silence is the tuning fork that brings us back into concert with the universe. It is in the stillness that we can attune our inner frequency to the vibrations of the world around us. This attunement is subtle and requires a deep level of stillness. It's about more than just not speaking. It's about quieting the inner chatter, the relentless stream of thoughts, judgments, and emotions that keep us feeling separate and isolated. As we align ourselves with the silence, we begin to dissolve the boundaries that we perceive between us and the world. Imagine standing under a starry sky, away from the lights of the city. As you gaze into the vastness, a profound silence envelops you. It is not an empty silence, but one filled with awe and a sense of connection. You realize that you are looking at the universe, and the universe is looking back at you. This is the experience of harmonizing with the unseen symphony, a realization that you are not a solitary note, but a part of a grand, cosmic melody. Harmonizing with the universe through silence also opens us up to moments of profound intuition and insight. It is as if the knowledge of the universe becomes accessible to us when we quiet our minds enough to listen. Artists, scientists, and philosophers throughout history have spoken of inspiration coming to them in moments of quiet solitude. Silence, then, is not just a passive state, but a channel through which the whispers of the universe are heard. But how do we access this state? The key is to be present. Whether we are sitting in meditation, walking in nature, or simply pausing to breathe deeply amidst a busy day, we can practice being fully present in the moment. This presence is where silence and the symphony of the universe meet. We also find that as we harmonize with the unseen symphony, our actions become more intentional and our interactions more meaningful. We move through life with a greater sense of purpose and connection. Our very presence becomes a note in the universal melody, contributing to the overall harmony. Finally, this harmonization is an ongoing process. There will be moments of discord, times when we feel out of sync with the world around us. But silence is always there, ready to welcome us back, to help us find our note in the symphony once again. As we conclude this exploration of the surprising power of silence, we see that it is not merely an absence of sound, but a portal to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. The unseen symphony is always playing, and silence is the way we tune in to its beauty and wisdom. The journey into silence is a personal one, and it does not end here. It is a path that unfolds before us with each step we take into the quiet. May the silence be your guide, your teacher, and your companion as you continue to explore the unseen symphony of your life.